Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the Lakeland Magic PA announcer, Hank Taylor. How are you doing today?
Brandon, thanks so much for having me, man. Thanks for working with me and helping me get on. I know it took us a couple of weeks, but glad we were able to do it.
Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to start becoming a PA announcer?
Yeah, man. Going back to like my high school days, when I was starting into high school, one of the things that I knew that I wanted to do, and one of the things I was really fortunate to have available to me at my high school, was a television production course. So when I saw that I was able to take that as an elective, I was like, I knew this is what I wanted to do. I knew this is what I wanted to, try to study and learn. And so long story short, on that first day of school, we did this exercise, where we were sort of, getting a tour. We had like a great studio space, getting familiar with, the technology, the equipment, just doing sort of an overview. One of the exercises we did was reading lines to a camera. So we would, take turns getting a chance to like read off of the teleprompter that was there. So you'd step in front, read some lines, and there. The teacher, who was also one of the athletic department coaches, pulled me aside afterwards. Coach Lowenstein was his name. And he said, "You have a really strong voice. Have you ever thought about wanting to try to get into public address, into announcing?" It wasn't really something that I ever thought of. I had like grown up doing theater and doing that kind of thing, but never really pictured myself in a public address announcing sort of role. So I was interested. I said yes, and he said, "Come back during lunch. We'll walk down to the office. I'll introduce you to some of the people in the athletics department, and we'll see if we can't get you plugged in." So then, long story short, I went down there during my lunch, met with the AD and his assistant, and got a job starting to public address. I did a volleyball game that day. So got hired, worked my first game that same day, and man, it was off to the races ever since then. It was so much fun to be able to, step into that, be able to say yes and take a chance, on myself, and to see what that's, turned into, that decision from like, 15 years ago. Now, maybe my math's not great, but a long time ago, 2006, that decision from 2006, like till now, that's been a really cool thing to see. So
that's pretty amazing. What was your time like at Southeastern University as the PA?
Southeastern was amazing. That is really where I took the biggest step in my development, not just as an announcer, but as a man. That's a Christian university. I'm a Christian, so being able to work in an environment like that under some amazing leadership really just helped me understand and really start to put into practice the idea that even a job like that, even a job like public address, like it's not about you. You got to take yourself out of the spotlight, take yourself out of the equation, and it's about serving. You're serving the audience, the public, by helping them get information about the game, the context they're watching, understanding that. You're serving the play, helping give them an environment that they enjoy and that they can play well in, amplifying their voices, amplifying their stories, amplifying their effort. And really, once you take yourself out of the equation, you make it not about. That is really when you can find the most success. So I credit Southeastern a lot to that, and there's some incredible staff there. Drew Watson is the athletic director. Ken Engel is the president. Chris Owen is one of the vice presidents who kept me around as a graduate student so that I could be part of football and continuing my announcing career there after my undergrad. So it really was just an incredible, a really incredible environment to learn from. You learn how to be a good teammate, how to serve the people that are at your head table with you, but also how to become, a man, how to become, someone who is serve, willing to go the extra mile, willing to put in that extra effort to serve someone else. So Southeastern really was just an amazing environment to learn from and learn in. And I know that I'm really privileged that I got a chance to announce there as long as I did.
What was it like? Obviously, as you said, you were a GA for the communication. So what was that like being a GA?
Being a GA was wild. Being a GA is something that at least for me, it sounded really exciting and almost easy, like on the one hand, but really it's a very difficult thing. You're doing usually some sort of accelerated master's degree program. For me, it was I went into a church and executive leadership MBA track, so it was not even something that I had really studied in undergrad. I was sort of going into a different area of study, going into something at a super high level, very accelerated, like very, very fast pace. I think we were doing classes in 8-week terms. It was like you were really trying to, put your best out, into that work, because every week, counted. You had 16 weeks of quizzes and stuff. And, and if you messed up one, it sort of averaged out in the end. Every week, and those things mattered. So that made it difficult. And you also are working. You have an increased level of responsibility. You're working, 30 hours a week, doing games, traveling sometimes on the road. You're pulling your weight doing radio shows, doing sports writing, taking pictures. They try to maximize, get as much out of you as you can when they're investing in you into a master's program. So it can spread you really thin. But it was, again, a great environment to learn from. I really broadened my skill set, really learned a lot of cool, interesting things. You get a chance to see different sides of the sports world and the sports industry close. And it gives you just a different appreciation for it when you do one job and you do one thing and you do that well. You sort of lack perspective sometimes, right, of what other people are working on, what other people are doing. So to get a chance to, broaden my skill set a little bit really helps me appreciate now when I work in the professional level, when I see people who are doing ticket sales, when you see people who are taking the pictures, when you see the people who are putting the scripts together, doing the writing, getting the promotions, getting those deals. When you've had some experience doing that, it gives you, such an appreciation for that, and helps you talk to those people and understand the world a little bit better. So being a graduate assistant is an amazing experience, highly recommended for anybody. But don't fall into the trap that it's going to be easy breezy. It's going to be pretty difficult to jump into something like that. So yeah, that was my experience with it.
Of course, coming out of college, being a grad assistant, what was it like getting into the professional world and working with the Orlando Pride in the NWSL?
Yeah, man. When I had sort of wrapped up my master's degree, wrapped up, college, I wasn't sure what my opportunities were going to be able to work in this at all. And I'd sort of, reached the end of my rope. I knew that I was going to take a pastoral job, a ministry job. And I was willing to, at that point, say to God, I really enjoy this. I love that I've got a chance to do this. I will leave this in your hands. If this is something that you have for me to do and you want to open that door in the future, that'll be great. And I'll be ready and ready to, when that time comes. But I'm stepping into full-time ministry, so I'm giving that back to you. And then it was through connections with some people that I went to school with that ended up going to work with the Magic and work with the Pride, that I was able to land those gigs. Going to the Magic was really just a combination of, it's the people that plus having a good, reputation and being a good Southeastern. They recommended me as well. And then getting into the Pride, like you mentioned, was again all about just the people that people know. I developed good relationships with some people at the Magic, contracted, did some work with them, and although my time there was short lived, it was awesome to get a chance to go there, meet with those people, interact with them. It was during COVID. I feel like I could have gotten a little bit more on if it wasn't as tough as it was. But getting a chance to jump in, work with the Pride was an amazing opportunity. Grateful to all those folks there, and hope that I can get back there again one day and pick up some more games.
Of course, during your time with the Pride, what was it like covering games for Alex Morgan and their whole team of the NWSL?
Yeah, Alex is just an incredible talent. I mean, she is. We just know that she every time she goes out there, she's playing really hard, doing really well. During my time there was she was pretty limited. I'm pretty sure that was when she was going her pregnancy. So we didn't really see her as much, but she was. It was awesome just to sort of again follow her story, follow her career, and even to have a small part of being there when she was there is something that I take a lot of pride in, for sure. No pun intended.
Of course, what were some of your favorite calls calling the Pride games?
Yeah, we got a chance to work some really interesting contests, some interesting friendlies. There were some great moments in those games where we would have some great goals. I'm trying to remember the Brazilian girl's name who plays for them, but she was just out of this world, man. She's incredible. Could get up and down the field really well. Had just a great game sense and scored really well. So those are some of my favorites from there.
What was it like also covering the Orlando City SC?
I didn't do a whole lot with Orlando City. Obviously, the Pride in Orlando City, share the ownership, same arena even, or same stadium rather. So I never got a chance to work with Orlando City. But being an Orlando resident, Orlandoian, I guess, I get a chance to follow them. They've had an awesome year so far. We have great hope for them and what they're going to do in the postseason. But yeah, as far as I'm concerned with them, that's something that I really hope I can get to do one day, but something that I've had the chance to do quite yet.
What was it like, obviously, whenever you joined the Orlando Magic's G League for the Lakeland Magic?
Yeah, man. The has such a special place in my heart. Because the G is all about, you see players go there with sort of, they're wanting to develop, they're wanting to take that next step in their career. See at the NBA level, so many guys, I think it's close to 50% of the current NBA roster, has experience or time in the G League. And so I like to think of, that, the G League as a developmental league, not just for players, but for everybody, even people like myself. It's a place where I can go and learn, develop, challenge, stretch myself, grow, develop in my skills. But also, for all the other staff, that working there, hoping to take that, their next step. It's a great opportunity for all these folks. So getting a chance to be a part of Lakeland, be a part of what they're doing, help, put on the product for a town of, Southeastern, based in Lakeland. So Lakeland is a town that's close to me. My family is from there as well. So to help bring this experience to Lakeland, to helping to, create an environment, for fans and people to come out and enjoy themselves and see some high level basketball has really been a huge. I love getting a chance to be a part of what they're doing and a part of what's going on there.
What has it been like, obviously, calling Lakeland Magic games, obviously growing up in the Orlando area?
Yeah, those are fun games, and if you come to one Orlando Magic fan, we do our to make those games feel similar. We incorporate a lot of the same elements into those games so that you can realize, oh, there's a correlation here. These teams are related. These teams support each other. So yeah, being a chance to being an Orlando fan, as long as I have, Shaq is probably my favorite player of all time. So getting a chance to be a part of Orlando Magic history when they announced that they were getting a G League team when the G League was rebranding to the G League and bring that team. That was really exciting. To me, I as an announcer and someone who was looking for it, I had sort of pinned that in my mind as well, when this opportunity comes, when they announce where this is going to be and when the starts developing, I needed to be on it to try to see if I can get some work. Then when they announced it was going to come to Lakeland, that was another really exciting prospect and thought for me. I was going to do everything that I could to try to get involved there, and then I did. So that was just a really awesome, it's really great for me, and being a part of that from the beginning has been really cool to see.
What are some similarities and differences between obviously covering in the NWSL, the professional league, and obviously in the NBA G League?
It's one of the things that I love about the G League is an access you don't get at the NWSL level, at the pro level. The players that are there, the coaches that are there, the front office personnel that are there. It's a lot smaller of a team, sort of by design, smaller organization. And because of that, you have great access. I mean, it's like a family. Everybody. You get a chance to interact with these guys a lot. The fan experience is great. At the end of every Magic game, they make at least 2 players available for autographs and pictures and all that for fans. Any fan at the game, they make those players available for that. So it's really cool if you're a fan, you get a chance to have some access that you probably wouldn't be able to get at the pro level, just because those players have more security and more things in place. But to get a chance to see those interactions with fans, get a chance to see players interact and get a chance to get up close and personal with these players. That's one of the really cool things and one of the key differences. And again, one of the things that I think makes the G League really great.
What are some of your favorite memories and moments of covering the Lakeland Magic?
Well, obviously, they went, a championship last year in their G League bubble. So getting a chance, and I was working, during that when they were at Disney World, putting on that bubble, which was really, really cool to see. That'll definitely be a highlight for sure. And getting a chance to see that up close, be a part of that on creating an environment for them. That was really cool. But man, there have been some great moments in Lakeland history. They, at home overcame, I believe it was a 33-point deficit to win a game at the buzzer. I mean, that will just forever be one of the best moments. They've had some great names, through there. You've got Kem Birch, who came through there, playing Toronto at the moment. You've got a lot of guys killing it overseas, guys like Troy Copane, John Petrucelli. All these guys that are, putting up great numbers across the board, anywhere that they go. There have just been there have been some great moments. Those are just a few that stand out to me.
What was it like, obviously, this year covering them in the bubble in Walt Disney World?
Man, the bubble was cool. That's, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Hopefully go back to doing that again, but to get a chance to see that process after watching the NBA bubble extensively, to be a part of the bubble, Disney and all the cast members there did an amazing job making sure that was going to go as smoothly as possible. They made that really great. The guys at 3 Point Productions, who are the guys that hired me to come work, they did a great job with all the presentation that was there. A very different environment. You're used to games that we have here at RP Funding Center. We've had a couple now already this year. There's so many different elements and moving pieces. You've got mascots there and fans in the building, and all these different sponsors and reads and things you have to go through there. It was very stripped down. There was very minimal. There was very minimal, production and things like that. Basketball, so it was really, really cool to get a chance to see high level basketball condensed into so little time, and to get a chance to work in that and see that was really, really a very interesting environment, and again, hopefully one that we won't have to go back to, but really cool nonetheless.
Of course, talking about obviously Lakeland winning the championship, going back in the last few minutes, what was it like, obviously, when the buzzer went off and obviously you knew that Lakeland would be crowned champs?
Yeah, I was watching that game from home because they went into that playoff tournament as the low seed, or I guess the high seed rather. They weren't going to have any home games in that whole postseason tournament, so I wasn't able to announce of their games as sort of like a conflict of interest. But I'm watching that game from home, and they played lights out during that postseason. They broke several of the 3-point shooting records in G League history. They were shooting lights out. They were getting pretty much everything to fall, and so they had taken a pretty commanding lead in pretty much all those games, and especially in that championship game. Got out to a great early start. The Blue Coats, a really, really interesting matchup for them because they were really big, but we were able to, again, shoot lights out. Those guys took a commanding, and then as time sort of winded down, it was just a matter of locking that in, making sure that was making sure that they kept that lead, maintained that lead. Then when the buzzer sounded and they won that, it was so exciting. I was at home jumping up and down. I was pumped for them and pumped for this season to start back up and to be part of celebrating their championship this year is really something cool.
Of course, as you talked about getting ready to start the championship, coming off of the championship, getting ready to start, what was it like, obviously, when you got back into the arena and you announced that Lakeland is champs in front of the crowd and you received your ring?
Yeah, man, it was special. When I was going down there a couple of times, for rehearsals and getting the chance to reconnect, and even still, it was just last night walking into that arena. It's such a surreal feeling. You forget how much you didn't realize it, but you take advantage of or take for granted things like live sports, getting a chance to work in that. So I've been down there 4 times already, and every night just walking into that arena just feels so surreal. And you remember back to 2020 when we shut down. We had just game the day before, and then we're supposed to have a game the next day when Rudy Gobert contracted COVID and the NBA shut down. That sort of sparked a lot of the a lot of the COVID things from there. But so walking into that arena, just feels so surreal. Getting a chance to not only do that, but to see the championship banner go up, to receive a championship ring, just speaks to, again, all of the hard work, all the dedication that those guys put in. Getting a chance to have a front row seat to see that and to amplify that and to celebrate that has been a huge honor. So, again, getting a chance to see those presentations and things up close, be part of announcing those to the public in Lakeland. Those have been really awesome.
Of course, as you talked about fans being back in the stadiums and having that energy, what has that been like, obviously, since the last season there was no fans in the stadium due to COVID?
It's been awesome to have fans back, man. The show that we play in Lakeland is huge. So they're working on trying to get as many fans back in there as possible. And but we've had some pretty decent crowds out there so far. So again, to see be able to see some of the fans, some of the faces and people, that I've been familiar with and that I've gotten to know, and even some new faces. Getting a chance to see those people again is really exciting. Lakeland has a really unique energy, and it's really cool to see, and to begin to sort of, what is it that gets these fans really excited? What is it that they, what are the music and the sounds and all that these guys love that means something to them? Rediscovering that, relearning that, and putting on a good show for those guys is a huge undertaking. But a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun to get used to, with and supporting that crowd again.
What are some of your favorite catchphrases that you use for the Lakeland Magic as the PA announcer?
The one that stands out to me, man, is you watch basketball, you watch professional basketball this year. It ebbs and flows with three, and Lakeland being a pretty prolific 3-point shooting team historically, and that's something that the crowd really loves. You see them get really, really, really excited when guys start shooting threes and make really consistently. So we always emphasize 3-point shots with the big. With the triple, we do that after every three, just to sort of put an exclamation point on that already exciting moment. Fans up when they make those threes, fingers in the air, waving them around, really celebrating that and getting into it. So we try to make that moment in particular, because we know it means a lot to the fans. We know it means a lot to the players too. We really try to make that, a huge exclamation point. So that's that would be it for me.
What's it like, obviously, covering games against the Greensboro Swarms and the Delaware Bluecoats?
I mean, Greensboro, they're right in our division, right in our conference, and they're pretty close to us, so we see them all. Obviously, Greensboro is a team that is really good, and they've got some great leadership there. Delaware, we've got them pencil marked this year. They were who we met in the G League Finals last year, so we're really excited to see them again. Greensboro is an awesome, exciting team. You've had some really great guys come through there, like the brothers. One of them is in Charlotte still, and one of them's in Miami now. But those guys, came through there, getting a chance to see them play. Was always really exciting. So those are two teams that we see a lot. We always pencil mark those because we know that those teams are going to come play us hard. But yeah, those are really exciting. Those are really exciting games.
What advice would you give people looking to get into professional sports, working in professional sports?
I think it comes down. I think it comes down to two things, and these are the two things I feel like I've based my career on, and the things that I always try to tell people is first you've got to be ready to say yes. You've got to be ready, willing to do anything. There can't be anything that's too good for you, because every opportunity you have to get in front of a mic and use your voice is an opportunity for you to make an impression on someone. Record your own content and put it out however it is that you do that. So every opportunity you get to do that in a live setting, it's a huge blessing, a huge opportunity. You can't be too good for any of those opportunities, because you'll really on a chance to potentially make an impression with someone. So that's why I always tell people you can't, be good for that, and sort of hand in hand with that. It's all about the relationships. It's all about the people that you know. You can't show up to things like we were talking about, have it be all about you. You can't put yourself on an island. You can't not get to know the people who sit on your right or your left in the scorer's booth or at the scorer's table. You've got to get to know people, because they'll be your advocates for the next event that they work. So you've got to be willing. You got to be willing and able to show up to these things, ready to serve, ready to work, ready to meet as many people as you can. Serve those people. Love those people, help make their experience easier for you, because they'll help make it easier for you as work gets harder for you. And you you have to go into it with a mindset of, like we talked about earlier, you can't put yourself in the spotlight or the center. It's a service oriented job. You're serving your audience. You're serving the people around you who are helping put this game on. You're serving the players and the coaches. So so take yourself out of the spotlight. Take yourself out of the center. Don't make it about you. And really try to amplify, lift up, support those around you. So yeah, those two things. You've got to be willing to say yes. You can't be too good for anything, and you've got to be willing to, build those relationships with the folks around you.
What advice would you have people looking to become professional PA announcers in professional sports?
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to be able to break in. I know for me, you run into or an organization or a team that's close to you that you want to work for, and you've got someone who's been in that role for a long time that an organization is happy with, and not very much opportunity for you to break in and get settled. That's where those relationships come in, right? You've got to be willing to reach out to those people and say, hey, I'm here, I'm available, here's my stuff, here's here's examples of my work. If you need me if you need me to fill it, if you need me to, have, that opportunity, I'm here, I'm available, just know that. So a lot of it is the networking. A lot of it is just going around knowing the right people to talk to, whether it's a coach or an athletic director or a GM. You've got to be able to know who those people are in their network, have them, know who you are, and work those relationships however you can, even if it's going down to, your local little league park on a Saturday. And I know that sounds silly to a lot of people, that obviously where anybody, wants to announce might be the place where you start. You don't know who's in those crowds. You don't know what parent is connected to a high school that maybe they could say, hey, I heard this guy at my kid's little league game. He would be great to have at the high school game for whatever. And, then you can sort of, again, take those opportunities, take that step up whenever you can get it, and grow and develop that way. So it sounds silly that you've got to make yourself available to do every little thing, but if you're someone who's trying to break into it, if you're someone who's trying to start, that's how anybody gets their start. So you've got to be willing to go out to those things, record yourself, post stuff on YouTube, social media, so you have a record of your work and what you can and showcase what you can do. So yeah, that would be my advice for people trying to start off if they haven't had an opportunity to, before. If you had to start from scratch, that would be what I would do.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media?
Yeah, on Facebook, Instagram. You can find me at Hank Haler, which is Hank Taylor, my name, with the first letters inverted, switched around. So Hank Haler. And that's really the main places where I'm active: Facebook, Instagram, those places. So yeah, I would love your listeners to, especially if you have someone who is interested in trying to get into this. I always love talking to people who are trying to step into public address work. So if any of your listeners ever have any questions, have them reach out to me.
That's wonderful. Thank you again, Hank Taylor, for your interview, and best of luck in your future with the Lakeland Magic.
Thanks, man.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Hank Taylor, for your interview, and best of luck in your future with the Lakeland Magic as the PA announcer.
Yep, thank you.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.